Hey everybody, welcome to the Reality or Not podcast with nothing new under the sun. Host Brian Clancy. How you doing, Brian, over there?
Hey, I'm doing good. What about yourself, DJ Reality?
I'm doing pretty good, a little sleepy, but you know, it's a Sunday and that's what the weather do to you. Definitely could use another nap, but you know, it is what it is. How your Sunday going?
Man, it's going pretty stupidly.
Oh man,
Like,
hopefully nothing that is gotten out of hand yet. You know, I'm just hoping to not be bothered for the rest of the day and
oh
and
no,
go from
man.
there.
So, yeah,
So,
like you said, I caught a nap because I was catching a flight this morning
mhm.
to Grand Rapids. But I was taking my daughter and her son, and it ended up not happening because I was willing it. Like I got up early because it's a 7 o'clock flight, so I got up at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Got to her apartment at like 4:40. We didn't leave her apartment till like 5:05, and then like usually her boyfriend to drive, and I don't have to worry about parking. But now he was he had a good night last night, so he wasn't driving. So you drive all the way out to the airport. I'm about 30 minutes away from the airport with traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the airport. Well, I went to go park my car because sometimes they'll be having a lot of parking at the airport, and it's $30 to park there now. So that's
$30 a day.
$30 a day to park in the
God
airport.
damn. Shout out to Atlanta. Atlanta
In
is
Atlanta, it's 35 now.
it's 14. I don't know where you parking.
No, you talking about in the economy park, but like
Yeah, I'm poor. I'm parking. I'm parking in the
even in
$14 a
the
day
economy
parking.
parking, I thought they increased it to 20 now because that's what
Uh,
it
I
used to
think
be like that.
I'm trying to think when I flew maybe a couple months ago, it was 14. It may have changed since then, but it's still 14 a day. They still got that sign up.
Hey, you better check it because like my boy Kente was just flying out of he was flying to Detroit, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, yo, it's like 20. Yeah, I think they increased it, and
Nah, I could that because it always made sense. Like if I was flying for more than 3 days, I would get a ride there or an Uber or whatever. But if I was flying for less or for 3 days or less, I would just park there because I mean the Uber it's weird, man. I'm 15, 20 minutes away from the airport, and to catch an Uber from the airport or from the house to
$30.
the airport is like $60.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I might as well. That's what I'm saying. It made logistical sense to go ahead and park there. But for you talking 30, god damn.
yeah.
I
So
learned, look, hey, I learned the hard way to not park at the airport. I remember, so it was one time, it was me and my mom. We were flying somewhere, and it was for a week, and she was getting on my nerves. And she's like, "Well, what are we gonna do for parking?" I was like, "I'll just park at the airport." Like, like, shut the fuck up. Let's go. Let's figure out the trip. Like,
let's go, let's
man,
go.
dude,
Yeah,
I ended up spending like 100 and it was like 140, 150. And this was not the time where I had like the discretionary money just to be able to drop $140, $150 on parking. But yeah, that was the one time I was like, look, I'm gonna look it up every single time wherever I park. You know, but yeah, that one cost me a lot that day. It was like, or that week or whatever. But yeah, it was like $150. I think it was like, but that was Chicago, so I think it was like maybe $30 a day back then. But that was probably I was like in the 2000s, you know, like around like the poor times, the the poverty times. So
man, who you telling? So like again, like I'm like you. If it's longer than like if I'm staying longer than 4 or 5 days, because to get for Uber from my house, and I'm like I said, with traffic, it can be an hour, it can be 35 minutes after I've made it to the airport in 25 minutes. But like I don't advise anybody doing that, and that's with tolls. So yeah,
oh, y'all got tolls? Oh wow.
oh yeah, it's toll roads all around. So when you get to Orlando, people, right? Do not skip out on that free toll pass because if you don't, the rental car people charge you them extra charges on your tolls. But basically, all around the airport is toll roads. Now you can't get out of there for free, but it's gonna take you longer. You probably gonna take you probably gonna burn that in gas. No, I ain't gonna say that. But
So let me ask this question: if you rent a car, is it better to get that pass in your car or no?
so in Orlando, they had because like at first it was bananas, right? In
Mm-hmm.
Orlando, it's better not to pay for them to not to pay the rental car people $15 a day because most of the time you only gonna use it the days you driving back and forth to the airport, right?
Okay.
So, but they do have this pass that I mean, like an easy pass that you can buy through a vending machine. Now you can buy that. They give you that for free, but you got to load it with some money, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
gonna
probably
be
like at least $10 or something like
yeah.
however that
That's
works.
gonna be your best bet because that's gonna be cheaper than you going and spending with the rental car people and them wanting you to spend $15 a day like I don't know, we talked about parking, but rental cars can put you right on up there with the rental car, the insurance, the premium insurance, and then
Do you
like
be
oh
getting
yeah, the gas.
it?
You can prepay the gas. Sometimes it's worth it to pay the gas too. You got to do the math in your head. If
I'm saying, do you get the insurance though? Do you? Because I never
uh,
get the insurance because your car insurance covers you. If you have insurance on your car, technically, well, from what I was told, and I mean, I've only abided by this, but if you have car insurance already, then you're covered in other vehicles.
yo, that is the truth. You are covered in other vehicles, but you're not covering their loss expense. So that's what their insurance does because they want to charge you loss expense.
Okay.
But if you have a credit card and like, hold on one second, you people, please look at your benefits.
Okay.
Please look at your benefits because in your benefits for your credit card,
Mm-hmm.
you could have. Uh, so one of my credit cards, I know I have my Chase. I have the premium rental insurance, so they'll
Mm-hmm.
take care of it. They'll take care of whatever my my other insurance don't take care of it. So I normally don't get it, but I will tell you this, Shante, when I went to pick up my daughter and move her from Dallas to here,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting a premium car from Six. I had never heard of these people. Six of
Yep, I
whatever.
rented from them before.
Yeah.
They fucked me over. Well, they had me, Eddie, and Mike waiting for the rental car like in DR for probably about a good 3-4 hours.
Why?
Because it's DR. I don't know. That was my only because I have never waited for a car that long. I mean, because I got there, I want to say me and Ed got there like pretty like we were I think we were on the same flight. But we were on the same flight. And we got there, we went to the rental place, we still waiting on Mike, and they just had us waiting. It was I do not know why, like we just wanted our car. They had us waiting, and like I said, it's probably about a good 3-4 hours until we got the car. I might be exaggerating. It was probably like it was probably about 3 hours though. I'm not exaggerating on the 3 hours, but we was definitely waiting. And I remember it was that Six company. And like I said, maybe it's just a different country, but
Yeah.
but that shit was fucking annoying. So but the thing is, we had to rent a car because we weren't like it wasn't like we were in a resort or anything like that. We were like in a little villa thing. So being in the villa, you had to be able to get around back and forth to be able to, whether it was grocery shop or whether it was, go out and stuff like that. Like you had to, it was either that or just, and Uber isn't really popping like that, So is when so you was either I thought logistically it just made sense to have a car. So if somebody want to go somewhere, somebody's just want to kick it or whatever, or be able to get back and forth to places, have a car available rather than having to figure out how we were going to get somewhere every single time we wanted to leave. So
Okay, yeah. So what was your experience like? Because you've been to Colombia too.
mm-hmm.
So did you rent a car in Colombia?
Colombia, nah. That was we had. So two different experiences in Colombia. So I went to Medellin, and when I went to Medellin, it was more so taxi service, and it still wasn't Uber, but it was more so just taxi service. But then when I went to Cartagena, we had a guy that came with the Airbnb, and that guy
came with it. Like y'all had a chef and everything too, and a guide.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one was more. I enjoyed that trip more just because it was less on me. But the only thing I didn't like about that is like we have this thing in America called tipping, right? And we don't get me wrong. I think people should get tipped or whatever, but I don't believe in tipping you for everything I don't believe in tipping you for what you get paid for. I believe in tipping in restaurants. I believe in, but I don't believe in tipping for a haircut. I'm like, no, I'm paying you in like Atlanta haircuts are like $50. So it's not like, like I feel like you already included your tip in that $50.
Now is that a regular 30-minute haircut?
Yeah, it ain't nothing. I got a $50 haircut right now. That shit looks normal. It ain't like he wash my hair or anything like that.
Yeah, like they be putting the towel around people and putting the look. I was like, dang, that's an experience. But
bruh, listen. So I remember when I first got here, this guy he cut in the mall. This guy charged $25. I was like, okay, that's around the range that I'm used to paying. This is 2018. 2019. He sends me a long text. He's like, hey man, sorry I gotta do this, but my price is going up to $50. I'm like, $50? God damn, but I'm going from 25 to 50, right? So
he doubled up. Okay.
So he doubled up. So on top of that, so then with that, I was like, okay, well, time to start looking for a new barber, because I was like, I'm not paying the dude. I felt like, like he was trying to get over on me almost. Like he tried to get me, like he tried to gank me for my money. So I ended up finding another barber, and I was paying him $40. And what I was paying him $40 was fine, but he was inconsistent. So I mean, and ironically, that nigga, like I paid him $40 for a spot, and that nigga still owed me $40. Like I paid him $40, and he never was available for that last haircut I tried to get from him. So I just ended up going to somebody else. He still owes me $40.
Wait. So you got rid of the $50 one, went to a $40 one that was not as reliable.
Yep. So that's
how the $10 was worth it.
So that's how I ended up back to the $50 one. And so then I'm back to the $50 one. Dude said, probably about a year, but this was like maybe 2022, 23. So then I went back to the other dude for 50. This dude talking to me in the chair, cutting my hair. He's like, man, I'm about to go up to 75. I'm like, all right. I was like, so don't get me wrong, I'm cool with the dude. Like he's a cool person. Love having a conversation with him. Great barber. But I can't pay you $75. Like you done went up on me 200%.
From how long? Like so over 2 years he went up, and $75 is it the attention to the beard, like with the razor?
It's nothing that comes. It's no perks that comes with. And then
you telling me we get a Marcus Collins haircut, and
that was $2. Dog, we thought that was a lot. But it's like, I was like, God, like $75. I'm like, okay, I could find somebody for $50. So now I paid my guy $50. And he cool. I like the haircuts. He consistent. I had this one dude that was cutting it for $50. And ironically, who? What's the dude that played for the Pistons now? The dude from Germany. What's the nigga name?
From Germany? You talking about?
He used to play for the Hawks.
Yeah, you talking about my man Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, he cut his hair. I went to him for a quick second. He was charging me 50, cut over in Atlantic Station. But he did me wrong. Like, dog, you ever watch the episode? You watch Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that episode of the haircut, nigga, it be like that. Like
Wait, hold on, man. Let me just run over to my baby mama house.
Yeah, like bro, like he was. Listen, so one time, and this is why, like he had talked too much in the chair. So I just like, man, just cut my hair. I don't like talking. Like, not that I don't like talking to you, but nigga, just cut my hair. Like, that's all I'm asking for. But so one time I had an appointment at 11:30, and I got there maybe around like 11:20. You know, and that dude was seating somebody in a chair. But I had an appointment that I paid for, and you pay for your spot. Like, I paid up front for the 11:30 appointment. I'm like, bro, why are you sitting somebody down in a chair and I have an appointment at 11:30?
Yeah.
So he's not going to get to my hair to at least 12:30. And mind you, this is when I worked in the office too. So, you know, I worked in Atlantic Station. So me scheduling that appointment, I'm very strict within my time. It doesn't 11:30 is not a loose schedule. Like 11:30. Yeah. Now, if you just finish
11:30 is your lunchtime, right? You
like if you finishing up somebody, that's cool. Or if you halfway through somebody else's head, that's cool. But don't sit somebody down and you know somebody already has a scheduled time to get a haircut. So I stopped fucking with him, and then I ended up with the guy I'm with now. So,
and that's $50 a haircut.
Yep.
So damn,
nothing comes with no bells.
You went from $3 Marcus Collins cuts to $50 cuts. What is it, every 2 weeks?
Yep, every 2 weeks.
Man.
Yep, and I mean, I cut before, so I mean, I lined myself up in between that week, but but yeah, man, listen, that episode of Atlanta. I mean, of course, it was exaggerated, but man, it's like that to get a haircut, like to get somebody that's consistent. Now, when you find somebody that's, because you saw with him, you know, somebody messed up in the episode, messed up the dude hair. You know, so he ended up back with that dude. But man, that dude had to go by his baby mama's house. That dude, they ended up in the.
He went by some construction project. And like
it was everything going on in that episode.
His son was pulling up. Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. This is bananas, right?
Yeah. But it's like that. Like I said, that episode was, like I said, it's exaggerated some, but man, getting a cut here, finding the right person. Like I said, you're getting. $75 is crazy to me to spend for a haircut. Like I'm not built to pay you $75. As soon as you said 75, you know, it's just, you know, and it's the thing too. You don't have to do it. Like you could agree to disagree. Like a lot of people feel like, and I feel like this is important in life in general. It's like, hey, look, you don't have to take what people dish out to you. Like you could literally say, nah, that ain't for me, and keep it moving. And you know, if they get offended, then that's on them. But just understanding that, I don't have to pay for this $75 haircut. Like this is crazy to me. Like, and $75, like you said, $3, $2 haircuts. You know, and mind you, you know that's, you know, in the 80s and 90s, but you know, still paying $75 for a haircut, and you know, the market is around like, I would say around 40 to 60 or 40 to 50. It's like crazy to me. But
I mean, and they ain't doing nothing extra. So like I haven't been to a barbershop, and last time I went to the barbershop, it was at my brother's wedding. Mm-hmm. So then at that point, I had already cut my hair, basically before I went to New Orleans, and then he just basically lined me up with that sharp razor. So I was like, okay, cool. And I think that was $10 for a lineup or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I cannot, like, if I've been cutting my hair since 8th grade, since Norris messed me up, right? So like,
that's funny.
I can't see giving somebody my money, and then Norris, that haircut I think was $10 at the time.
Well, I started cutting my own hair when Norris went to $4.
Oh, he went, okay.
Norris went to $4. I remember specifically Norris went to $4. And that's when I got clippers and I started cutting my hair. And you could tell that I had started cutting my hair. I look back at pictures. I'm like,
it seemed like I went to him until he was $5, and then I told him I wanted the 2 parts and my little ramp, and he put the 2 parts instead of going with the grain into the ramp. He did it into the ramp like that, like I was Bobby Brown in it, and I was like, yo, I never do 2 parts. They always go like the half moon, and I had to pay. I still had to pay him for it, and I was like, no, I don't even like this haircut. And I still gotta pay you for it.
Oh shit! You messed me up, and you didn't do it the way I wanted to, and I still gotta pay you for it. I mean, I get it because time spent, but at the same time, you didn't do it how I asked for it.
Yeah. And so then I was like, yo, that's mad crazy that people still get paid for something that you don't want them to like. So I was like, yo,
welcome to America. Yeah, the nature of it. I mean, that's. Being an employee is like, shoot, man, I get why, people, get let go from companies and stuff like that. People,
But that's something different, right? To do something and not be satisfied. So I was talking to the dude yesterday. He's cyber security, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, that's the one job that y'all fail at, and y'all still keep y'all job because y'all good at failing, right? And he was like, I never thought about it like that. Because you can't stop these hacks, these attacks or whatever, and you still keep your job. And all you do is say, well, it could have been worse.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I have nothing like that. That is a unique way to analyze it, because there's always going to be somebody out there trying to figure your business out. And it's weird too, because you would think okay, well, the larger companies are the harder ones to hack, but they can be hacked, so they're going to target the smaller ones just because it's like, well, shoot, I could get these credit card numbers, or I can get this blah, 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 or use this.
They need this data. I'm going to just go in and encrypt their data so they can pay me to get it back. I keep seeing it. And it's large companies too. I know large
companies get hit, but they're just a lot. I mean, they got more protective because they have more resources.
But the weakest link is people, right? So you get access, and I told them too. I was like, man, I just went to this conference a couple weeks ago, and it was I'm big into security because I'll be like, I didn't get hacked a few times. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, they got me, and I'm a G with mine. Like, how does this work? But it's stuff that's out of your control that you can't. If I'm using the OS the only OS that they have on my cloud server, that's the only OS that they have, and they haven't patched it, then I'm only as strong as their infrastructure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I was telling him, I was like, look, y'all security, y'all getting into everything, y'all accessing the data, y'all looking at the data, y'all looking at what transports the data and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who's securing your stuff, right?
Yeah.
You got my whole business logic, model, and everything in yours. What's stopping you from Amazon and then just say, hey, I think I can replicate what this person do? Or if you get hacked, they're gonna have everything, and I say that because of the hacks that that big Microsoft hack, the Tailwinds hack. It was the underlying application that Microsoft was using, so they took it as being solid, and they got in through the software that wasn't secure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they found that, it wasn't a security expert that found that. It was somebody who was like, yo, I ain't open this, but I keep seeing this open and close on its own. What's going on? And had to dig deeper. And it's like, oh shoot, it's a level 2 event.
Yeah. That's I like the way that you explain that though. Just the fact that they literally are, not to say that they're failing at their job, but they literally have to keep reinventing ways to protect businesses, because they're going to, like you said, they're going to get attacked. That's just I mean, somebody's job, not a cybersecurity job, but the hacker, their job is to hack. That's what they do. That's their that's their livelihood. Their job every day, like we go to work, we do our 8 to 5 or whatever hours that we work. Their job 8 to 5 or whatever hours they're working is to try to hack something.
Yeah, and then understand what that means too, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to turn this into an IT thing, but
Mm-hmm.
understand what that means. I don't have to, like, all I got to do is find an exploit, and then like I might be set for life off that one exploit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every
so
day.
hackers hack. You know what I'm saying? And if you have something worth being hacked, right? So like, if you have all this data on people, all this information on people, that adds value. That adds value to anybody, to anything, right? And if you're using that data all the time, like I said, a hacker can just exploit it, let it loose in his network, reap the benefits. Like one hack, if you're good enough, one hack can make you, $3-4 million. And if you spent a year doing it, you still made $3-4 million a year doing something that you was like that you can now protect against.
And you can evolve. That reminds me, what's that movie? The guy that kept he was forging checks. It had
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Like the dude made a whole life out of it, kept going, and then ended up, working for him. It's like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's creating your lane. And like I tell people all the time, there's money out here to get. You just got to figure out if you got the jeopardy to stand for it, right?
Mm-hmm. No, and you bring that up, like, and that's one of the topics. It's like, how do you? And this, I'm gonna lean towards this, but it's like, how do you become a boss? And it's like, one thing I was thinking about earlier today, and I was like, wait a minute, we have. I feel like us growing up was more structured on this is. You go to college, you're gonna get the job and blah blah blah, or you learn this and then you're gonna do this. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that the only way that I've never gotten things based off of a status, right? So I've never gotten things based off of. It may have helped me get within the door. It's like, well, I have a computer science degree, or I have an MBA, or anything like that. Like, it may have gotten me into the door, but being able to leverage who I am as a person is what's gotten me things within my career. So I was thinking, and this is where I was going with the thought process. The thought process was, you don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to operate within a structured way of doing things to be successful. So I kind of wanted to, push the conversation that, or to speak to the narrative of, you don't have to do things a certain way to be successful. And you were just alluding to that, or you had just mentioned that. And I just find it interesting that some people still feel like you have to do things a certain way to be able to be successful. Like, what's your opinions on that?
Yeah. So when you said that over, I got to thinking. I was like, okay, success, like, right? And my definition, and this kind of bleed into the conversation we had a little earlier, right? Mm-hmm. My definition of success is not what I have, not what I. So it's what you accomplish. So success is what you're making, right? Mm-hmm. And how you living, right? You got your own house, mm-hmm. And like. I always knew I was going to have my own house. So that's not like, hey, that's one successful thing and I always wanted to work for I always wanted to have a job for longer than a year in corporate America. That was a success. That was one of the goals that I wanted to make as my success. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about success, like you were saying, my grandma taught me a different way of looking at life when I was younger because of her business acumen. Mm-hmm. My grandmother bought into real estate. She had a few houses and stuff. And as a woman in the 60s and 70s, I was like, yo, that you doing a lot. You opened up some of the first adult foster cares in Muskegon was she opened up the first adult foster care home in Muskegon. And I'm like, Granny, how you knew to take care of these people? And she said, well, you know what? In life, you know where you want to go, and you got to find the best way to get there. And I think that's what success is. But saying that, I feel like I haven't had my success yet. Right? I'm 48 years old. And,
I still tell everybody I'm at like 20%.
Exactly.
Like I'm not even like it's so much more to gain. A lot of people, but the thing is, my 20% can be somebody's 65 to 80%. You know, I don't.
Yeah, because it's what
I can't abide by that though. I need more. Like
it's what you want out of life. Because there's been people that I know that's just like, yo, I got a good job. I got a boy that we went to school together. His name was Ron. We went to school together. He's been working for Ford since he got out of school. Well, since he got his master's degree, right? And he been working for Ford. Ain't never had no like. It's like, yo, I live a good life. You know what I'm saying? He invests. You know, he go where he want to go in life. Like he's good with Ford. He's gonna retire from Ford, and I understand that. But to me, like I don't think I would ever have a job for 20 years because that's the only way we in IT. The only way we get more money is like
you bounce around and move to the next thing.
Yeah,
you have to. You know?
Yeah. But some people's success is like, yo, I got money in my account. I'm good. I drive a nice car. That's some people's success. That's never been my success. I've been driven by my grandmother's success. I think pretty much since I realized it, right? And I might only realize it a couple of weeks ago when I was like, yo. Because one of my goals in life is to build something for us by us, right? That's part of the G-coded thing. The other thing is be able to employ my people, right? Because my grandmother not only did she open up adult foster care homes, but she helped people from her block open up adult foster care homes. She ain't gatekeep it. She's like, okay, I'm gonna bring my people. Because like what Jay said, what's better than one billionaire? Two.
10, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? like because the LeBron James model is dope. You know what I'm saying? If you can bring other people with you, and y'all successes are multiplied, right?
Look, now you brought up a good thing. Like, look at LeBron, right? LeBron he's a great example because he, in my opinion, he took a hit. I mean, we could do all of LeBron and Jordan comparisons and things like that, but LeBron took a hit. And people, like, if you really look at it, like, look at his, like, the way he set things up, LeBron is one of the biggest stars ever. And he could have been bigger, but he chose to put his people in place to make sure that they were good. Because I put it like this: sports, like say for instance, Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan is one of the most marketable players in the history of the game. If not I would put him, in my opinion, I'd put him at one as far as marketability, right? And within that marketability, he went to certain, like you look at Nike, right? Nike,
Gatorade,
him coming around right at the right time.
Yeah.
You know, him boosting Nike stock tremendously. So him, you know, Gatorade, you know, McDonald's, all of these different marketing things.
T-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Like
and you look at it like he's the perfect marketable athlete where, you know, to this day people are still wearing Jordans. I feel like LeBron took the hit for his team to have, he still has the exposure, but he could have had just as much exposure, if not more, than Michael Jordan. But he was like, well, no, let me put Maverick in this spot. Let me put Rich in this spot. Let me put, you know, all of these pieces in the right spots, even though, because even like I said, your fandom, you say, hey, Michael was definitely better than Jordan, or Michael was definitely better than LeBron, whatever. LeBron took that hit as far as marketability to put his people in. It's like, no, we're gonna have this show, we're gonna have this movie, we're gonna do this to make sure that my people are good, and from the idea of opening schools and all that stuff within Ohio, and just giving back to the community in general. Like, I mean, you could say whatever as far as like, as far as the talent level of winning championships and all that stuff within the league, but off the court, you can't, like, LeBron blows everybody out of the water as far as
so I'm in 100%, and like I was just talking to somebody the other day. They was like, "Yo, you need to come back because I'm doing the stuff back at home. I'm building a coffee shop, which is the cornerstone of the community that I'm trying to expand upon. Right? I got the building now. I put the coffee shop in there, and then I get the tech in there, and then I bring the people in there to kind of.
Did you open a weed shop?
No, no. No. I mean, like I tell people,
there's plenty of them there, bro. Like, I've never seen so many weed spots in a fucking small ass. I mean, it's my hometown, but I'm like, God damn, it's like, what's that street? Is that Sanford? No,
Park.
When you ride
Laketon.
right before Laketon.
Laketon, yeah.
Yeah, right before Laketon, the street that run, is it Peck? I think it's Peck. But whatever street that is, dog, it's 4 of them on 2 blocks. I'm like, God
right.
damn.
And the first thing started off, there was where you didn't have a school at, but then now the middle school is right there, right? So like
right there. No. Weed shop, corner, Laketon, school. Yeah. Like that is crazy to me. Like I'm just like, man, like, don't. Hey, look, I like business, but it's at the same time, it's like, bro, like, everybody don't have to own a weed.
But
spot.
The way that and I will give Muskegon, Michigan, all the credit in the world, but the way that they shot up their value was with the green economy. And I say the green economy because, like, I was in some of this planning stuff, right? So they had it zoned where it couldn't be around the school, and they was closing schools and stuff. So really, the Laketon and Peck area was like the first area where they was where I would call it the Green Mile, right? Now, so when people were positioning, and just think of what the stuff that had happened in Colorado when it went recreational, they was making money, right?
Yeah.
So in Muskegon, I don't know who had this idea, but they zoned it correctly, and they made that property value shot up, right? I think it's like $1 million to build something there, right? But the weed shop seen it and was like, yo, it's an opportunity to grow. So they have like 3 on that Laketon and Park corner, like around where Cabin used to live, right? And then it was like, okay, we could just do that corridor, and then so you can only build it in that area. So they can find it in the area and made that area worth a lot of money because those are the only areas that you could do it in, right? Then 2 years later, what they do? Open the whole stuff up, right? But now they're saying that the value was there, you know what I'm saying, and open the whole stuff at. So like it's a few things that I feel like that my city does well because they back at home. I'm gonna tell you, we more reactive than proactive, right? Like right now, this is the best time in the economy. You talk about property values and building homes, and like we building multi-million-dollar houses in Muskegon, which is crazy to me, right? But if you look at it, we have that beautiful lake. We have all that. We move all that industry from on the side of the lake, so we have the capacity. But like, I just wonder who the hell paying for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, who coming from California to Muskegon? But I'm a Muskegon ambassador. So
now,
if
listen,
you ever
my reluctance to build in Muskegon, if I was to build there, my reservations always goes to, is there a business to support building there? Like, so it's not a I mean, you got Grand Rapids, it's not that far, but I mean, that's still like 30 plus miles. But my reservation is like, well, if I'm going to build there, I would rather build a business rather than homes.
Okay. All right, I feel you, and that's part of my plan in life. I want to build a gym on the lake because why not, right? Like to have those vistas in that view, right down there with the old Kokomo's. Remember when we used to ride around Kokomo's?
Yeah.
Like building a gym there that I can, because like here's the thing, I can back at home, I can pack a gym basically 24 hours a day, right? Because
why is there only one fucking gym? Like every time I go home, I gotta sign up for Planet Fitness. Like it's little things like that. Like that I notice that whenever I go home, and that's why I tend to not go home during the wintertime. Because I'm like, well, none of my gyms are there, like LA Fitness or even I couldn't even find anything on Class Pass while I was there, and I have a Class Pass membership. And it's like, what's attracting? I mean, I don't want to just go home and go to Scribs. Like I need to have a reason. And the tough part for me about going home, if anything, is it's not cheap to go home. Like if it was like flying to Grand Rapids, like, oh, that flight is cheap. If the flying to fucking Grand Rapids is more expensive than the flying to Detroit or the flying to Chicago.
No, dude. Like, so I fly to Grand Rapids. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. Because I fly, like today, my flight was it's a little skewed because I got to go wild. Frontier has direct flights back and forth to Grand Rapids, so I became.
Yeah, but Frontier and Allegiant and all these. I mean, I get it, but it's like if I want to fly, I got a Delta card, I got a United card, I got a American Airlines card. It's like, I mean, to fly Delta, I want to say, ain't Delta based in Grand Rapids? Like,
no, okay. Delta is based in Detroit, but yeah, you can't even fly Delta. Can you fly Delta into? I know you can fly United.
I want to say you can. I want to say Delta has a spot in. I mean, well, I know you could fly Delta into Grand Rapids. Community. But I feel like they have a facility in Grand Rapids. For what I remember, because I think, because I want to say Delta, because I was trying to fly Delta to come. I was trying to fly Delta to come home for I don't know if you know, but Pastor Williams passed, but I was trying to get a flight last.
Pastor Williams passed from
Church of Living God.
Church of Living God. No, I didn't know that.
When he passed. Service was Friday. Yeah, I was gonna come in the flights for like $900. I was like, I mean, I love him, like.
Yeah, he was. Shout out to Pastor Bishop Williams because
Beulah, his son James is the pastor over there. But I'm like, bro, I'm not about to spend $900 for a flight,
I was mad just this morning because, like I said, I was flying back home to Michigan this morning, and I only spent $120 an hour for me and my daughter flight with bag.
That's dope.
Yeah, so like
I never had no beef with like Frontier and all that. Like people be, I don't look. I think sometimes Black people, I want to say all because whenever you say all or none, that's when people come for you. You got to say some. But we tend to think that we're owed something. And when I say that, is we expect to receive the same, and don't get me wrong, I never had no issue with Frontier Spirit, but we expect to have the same amenities that you would get on a larger airline than what you would get or that you would have on Frontier. I'll give you a prime example, right? I flew Frontier. I was going out to Vegas, and I looked at it. I was like, oh, okay. It was such a price disparity between, like, when I looked at the flights, it was like $200 to fly Frontier, but it was $600 to fly Delta. I was like, okay, cool. Well, my logic, the way I think about it, I'm like, well, okay, let me go and fly Frontier, but let me get extra seats or extra seat space, and let me go ahead and pay for an extra bag, so I ain't got to, worry about if my bag, if my carry-on fits, blah, blah, blah. So I think I ended up spending maybe $300 on a flight, but I had to. I mean, I think it was like an extra 76. It was 75 or 70, 75 or $100 that I paid extra just to have all of the extra amenities on the flight.
Yeah.
So I paid for what I wanted. But I think sometimes people want, they're like, well, shoot, I could just do a carry-on bag. I ain't got to pay nothing extra, and I get this flight for $150. And it's like, no, you got to. Like, I saw. It's funny. I saw this. It's fucked up, but I saw this chick. She had this big ass. What's the Telfar bag? She had a big ass Telfar bag, and they was like, I know you can't get that on. You got to pay $100. She argued with. But we boarding, so it's like you just got you got to eat that. Like, you knew that bag. Like, the bag was probably about this wide and like this, right? So it definitely didn't fit in that, because they have a little spot at the front to check your bag.
This is her personal bag. She was trying to get her personal bag in the. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm a firm believer that we got you got champagne service. What is it? Caviar. What's the? You got caviar taste on a Boom Farm.
Dreams.
yeah, on a Boom Farm budget. So like, I really wish people would really understand. You can't get something for nothing, and like you do miss out. The flight to from Grand Rapids to Orlando is 2.5 hours at the most, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can be on the plane a little longer, but like, I'm just going. Like, I'm like, I got used to the perks.
Yeah,
but I think because I flew so much, you got your little status or whatever. So I'm used to the perks. I'm used to getting on the plane first. I'm used to sitting up front and looking at the peasants walk by. But
yeah, little piss ass over there.
But I earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I earned that, and I'm paying for that service, right?
Listen, I flew, like, my last 2 flights. I started getting the business select. And I was number 1, and I got like a free drink ticket too. Nigga, like, I'm looking, like, not that I'm looking down, but I'm like, yeah, A1. Like, like,
again,
and people looking at me like, and I'm like, and I'm kind of like showing my phone because like my ticket's on my phone. I'm kind of showing them like, yeah, like, not necessarily directly like showing my phone, but I was showing them like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Like, what you thought?
Again, success, right?
Right.
Like, I never thought of success as like, yo, I like being in the front of the plane. I never thought of success as like, yo, I need more space on the plane where I sit, right? I never thought of success like that. But then when you start redefining your life and you start saying, okay, like, you start discovering stuff, and I want to bring this back to the success talk, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of my successes. I ain't got my own private plane, but like, I'm an honors member. I'm an elite member on Frontier. But I
was going by that pass that they had. Like,
I got to go by pass.
Yeah,
I had bought my daughter to go by. So that's why we was going back. And like I said, it wasn't nothing to go back. But
now listen, it's weird when people think like, oh, why do you need? I was like, well, shoot, if you flying enough, I mean, why not? It wasn't that much. If I remember, I can't remember how much it was.
They actually had to sell for it for $299. That's why I had bought hers. I paid. I think I just paid $5.99 for mine because they wouldn't let me renew at the $299 part. Mm-hmm. But like, I fly enough to, or if I want to get up tomorrow and go to Vegas, or if I want to get up tomorrow and go to fucking San Antonio, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like,
that's success though. Success is saying, hey, I have this, even if. Even if you don't use it or not, like, having it available to you if you do use it. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, I've been afforded certain things that, using a success to me is using a credit card when I want to, but being able to pay it off right away. So I don't have to worry about the interest. Like, that's successful. That's success to me, being able to, spend when I want to spend. And like, well, I know I probably shouldn't be spending on, these whatever $500, $300 shoes, but you know what? I really want them. So, and I work my ass off to be able to spend that money and then be able to,
I can afford this, and it don't affect my lifestyle. Like I used to tell people, and this is one success that I can say. A traffic ticket could change my life back in the 90s and the 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
One traffic ticket could change my life. One traffic ticket did change my life, where I had like driving my license suspended and that downward spiral and stuff like that. And you never being able to get the ticket and not knowing how you're gonna pay this ticket. And the steps that it, like they take your driver's license, you can't go to work, and like that whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
that's so stressful. When now I get a ticket, and I got pulled over the other day. I get a ticket, and I'm like, oh, I got to pay it. I got the money to pay it, so it ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Look at it like this, right? You mentioned a ticket. One time, I got pulled over. I had insurance, didn't have the insurance on me. I mean, I just had the paper on me, whatever.
Yeah.
Bought the ticket because I had insurance. Didn't realize I had moved from place to place in between. My license ended up getting suspended based off of no insurance. But I didn't know it was suspended because I had literally moved from Michigan or Lansing to Chicago. So, they're sending stuff to Lansing and I'm not getting it, whatever. So I drive back at the DJ at the University of Michigan. I drive back to University of Michigan from Chicago, and I'm double parked. I'm unloading equipment. Cop pulls up behind me. He's like, and then he's checking my license and stuff. He tells me to get back in the car, and I'm like, dude, I'm just double parked. I'm not even, the car is not even moving, so he issues me a ticket, takes me to jail, and have me do all of the fingerprint and stuff like that. Mind you, I'm getting ready to DJ, so my event damn near fucked up. Takes me to, and mind you, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what the, like, because don't nobody know why, and this is a scenario that I didn't understand how to control it because, like I said, I was in between moving from one place to the other. But I'm already embarrassed that, I'm supposed to be DJing this event. The event's going to start late because of me, even though I'm there early.
What did he write you the ticket for? Driving with license suspended?
Yep.
He didn't catch you driving.
Right. He the one told me to get back in the car.
Did you beat the ticket?
I ended up having to fight the ticket from Chicago. So now Brian, this is the main reason why I do not live in Michigan. I have never been issued a ticket in any other state except Michigan. To this day, like all of the time I've lived, not to say I lived out of Michigan more than I lived in Michigan, because I did move back for a brief stint between like 2011 to 2014. But I guess I have lived outside of Michigan. It's around the same range now, considering, growing up from to 18. But I had to, when I was fighting, I had to fight the ticket. So I had to drive back. The ticket ended up, they ended up removing the ticket, but I still had to drive from Chicago to Michigan to fight the ticket. And then my license was suspended. So I had to get my license back reinstated. So I'm driving from the court, and, they're like, well, you got to do this driver's test, blah, blah, blah. So I'm about to do the driver's test that day.
So it had been suspended for a little while. So the fact that they had to take you back through the process.
So then I'm on my way. So then they was like, well, we can't get you in for a driver's test today. So then we'll get you in soon. I get all the way to Indiana, driving back to Chicago. I get a call They say, well, we could do your driver's test today. I then drove from Ann Arbor to Indiana. And then I called my mom. I was like, Mom, look, like, I'm so frustrated. Like, it was one of the most frustrating moments of my life. She's like, man, just go ahead and do it. Get out the way. You ain't got to deal with it no more. So then I had to drive all the way back from Indiana to Ann Arbor, take this funky ass driver's test to get my stuff back reinstated. Based off of no insurance, which I have insurance, but since it already, been suspended, I had to take a test for it.
Yeah.
Had to pay for the test.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't know that your insurance didn't go up to tell you that you had, like, yeah. See, like that whole tailwind that you're talking about, I lived it, and like I said,
it ain't worth it. Listen, bro, that was one of the. I'm so, and mind you, you got to think, Brian, like Ann Arbor to Indiana, I done drove 3 hours. I'm almost at home in Chicago.
Yeah,
and I got to turn around and drive this 3 hours.
Michigan City.
I was in Michigan City. I was literally in Michigan City. Like, man, I don't like. I was like, fuck it, eat that, go and do what you got to do. My license has been good ever since. But I didn't even know that my license was suspended for the non-insurance, even though I have insurance. So I went through all of that on some BS. Like, bro, I'm telling you, to this day, that's the main reason why I will not live in Michigan. Like, I have never been pulled up anywhere except Michigan in life.
But the terrible part about that, I'm gonna just give it to you like this. That ticket was only $25 if you would have paid it before. Like, if you have insurance and they write you because it was stupid back in Michigan, where if you didn't have the paper, they would still write you a ticket.
Yep.
And then you show your insurance, and you had to pay $25, and they'll get rid of the ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would have been. But since you that $125 basically ruins your life.
Look, it fucked me up with, because even though I went to the jail, did the whole fingerprint and all that stuff, I still went back and DJ'd the event. I mean, I literally just had to go down there and get fingerprinted. And then came back. So I was like 30 minutes late for the event,
but see,
that affected business, and that affected my time. Cause I've been telling them, I'm like, well, it ain't my, like, cause what's his name? Him, Dre Walker's cousin. His name starts with an L. He used to work for University of Michigan. He's from Muskegon. I just can't think of his name right now.
Leon.
Yeah, Leon. Yeah, Leon, the one, he had booked me, to DJ the event, because he used to work for University of Michigan. Yeah. And, and I'm like, damn, I used to, like, that was, and I mean, he doesn't work for him anymore, but that was the last event I did for him. It's like, whether, perception is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I couldn't control that narrative, even though I probably could have, and me not being able to control that, in my eyes at the time, it's like, all right, well, shoot, I just got to do what I got to do to be able to get this, resolved. And that's just one whole ass ticket.
Yeah, and then so now you've been arrested before. Now you have an arrest record, and that's the part that tripped me out, because I got arrested for driving with license suspended. So then when I did do some stuff where I could have been like, I ain't never got in trouble, they was like, oh, you had arrested back here in 1997 for driving with license suspended. I was like, that was a civil infraction turn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and it don't go, like, people be like, oh, well, 7 years, and look, I was gonna pay a lawyer to have like whatever is on my record, because I think you could pay, like, you can pay to have it like
expunged.
Like, I think it's like, I know it used to be like $2,100 because I was go do it, just to have nothing on my record, but man, fuck it. Like, at this point, it's like it ain't nothing crazy that's on my record, so I just said, fuck it, it's not even worth. But honestly, it might even be worth it to do it,
It might, because like right now I'm going through, I get my pre-TSA, and they having an issue with it. And like, even I've lost a job because of a background check. And
damn.
Like, the one job was kind of crazy because I was like, yo, I'm taking these, I was got a rental house, and it was like, well, I did have a bill with a credit card company. I mean, with a credit card company that they was trying to sue me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was one of them. It all happened at the same time in 2014. So
it all comes down at once, man.
Yeah, I was suing my tenants to get out of my house, and like there was like we're a credit card company. We can't have you having issues with credit cards. And I was like, I need a job to pay the it's progressively worse. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, you let me go because I couldn't pay my bills, and now I ain't I'm not gonna be able to. And matter of fact, I only had the job for like a week and a half because I was already working there as a contractor. And when they found when the background check came up, they let me look into this, and I was like, yo, look at it. I'm the plaintiff in this one, right? These two, look, I did have two credit cards that had, like I said, that had tried to sue me, and I was like, they want their money. I ain't have it. You know what I'm saying? So going through court. Okay. Yeah. Again. So
credit cards, bro. That's one thing that we alluded to this last time, but man, with credit cards, I mean, this is you have I'm saying not you personally, but like for us folks, we need to stop looking at that as free money and thinking like that's I mean, if you get $1,000 credit card, that doesn't mean you got $1,000. Like you got to start leveraging that. Like I had a credit card, and like I'm at a point now where, I had a credit card, and they charged me a late fee, and it was like a $5,000 credit card, and I think I told you about the interest-free credit cards, but they do require you to make a payment. I forgot to make the payment. It was only but they charged me like $40, but I had like 5,000. And this is where, back to the success thing. And I had 5,000 on there of credit that I had transferred from other cards. And that was the card that I was using, I was paying it, but I was making sure that the other cards didn't gain interest on them. So it was 5,000 on there. And they charged me $40. I called them. I was like, hey, can you take that $40 off? And they said no. I paid the $5,000. Like I took the money out of my savings. I was like, I ain't about to be on y'all niggas and like y'all sitting up here. Like I'm sitting up here building credit with y'all, and I closed it. I was like, I don't need this card. Like I had the money in my savings, to pay it off. But of course, I wasn't like paying it
cash
off.
Is king. Cash is king. Use that cash. Yeah.
But that's a lot of people don't have, and that's why I say the success part. I'm like, I can make sure that, I don't have any debt. Like if something comes up, I have a way to be able to remedy that. I was talking to Aunt Alice about this, and it was weird to me. She was talking to me about China, which is her daughter. She was saying that, it, but other people may not know, but she was saying how she had like $10,000 of school debt that was left, but she's paying. It was a low interest rate. I think it's maybe 3 or 4%. But she was like, I have the money to pay it in my account. I was like, well, why don't you pay it? Why are you still paying interest on something that you have money available to knock that? I just don't like. I'm of the ilk. I don't believe in paying y'all nothing extra, unless I have to. I'm not.
Unless it's debt management, right? It's like, yo, I can afford. Like, it's cheaper for me to keep this money because I don't know what's foreseeable in the future.
Yeah, so and that's what she was alluding to. And I was like, but you paying $10,000, or you got $10,000. You paying interest on that. It's not as if you're paying 2% on $10,000. You're paying 2% monthly on interest for this card or for this debt. I'm like, get rid of that debt if you have it available. And it wasn't like she just had $10,204 available to her. And like, and Alice, she did all right for herself. you know. But I'm like, but we're taught, to keep money available, but yet we still incur other debts. It's like, well, no, don't keep debts going if you don't have to have them.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
then what effectively happens with that, right? Is that your savings is minus interest, right?
yeah, that's yeah.
So like the money that you have, you essentially you saving less interest with the money that you have. But if you have something to do with that money that you can make more than
if you can make some more money, you can leverage. I mean, you plan on buying another house, or you plan on doing something like that with it, then
or you flipping a car or something like that. But
you utilize it for that. But other than that, if you just got money just sitting, like, nah, it's not gaining anything. And
we work in a capitalist. We talked about this last time. We work in a capitalist society, and capital. You put capital to work. Now, with that being said, Shante, you said you can never see. Like, I always see myself coming back to Michigan because, like, another
I
thing.
won't come back for the law. Like that. That's like I love Michigan. I love Muskegon. I think Muskegon is a dope place to stay. Just because, I mean, bro, if you look at where my mom's house is at, like that area has. I mean, they're doing a bunch of stuff to the area. But look, I literally, when I come home, I walk 2 blocks and I go run on the lake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's no
that I never paid attention to it when I was there. You know what I'm saying? But like, you literally have everything there. You have the water, you have the wilderness, you have, like, it's something to see. You go to these cities and there's nothing to watch. There's nothing to see, right? It's just if the buildings weren't there, it would just be whatever, right? What people need to understand about Muskegon is Muskegon was built by the water. Like it pushed sand up. It made its textures everywhere, right? It's creeks. I did not know we had crawfish. Like I was like, yo, we got crawfish. It's
bro,
right.
I never went to Pure Marquette until damn near 11th, 12th grade. Like I didn't even realize I didn't realize, like, I mean, I went to Mona Lake more than when I went to Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan is literally right there. Like,
right.
Dope ass fucking scenery. Like you said, I mean, people go there in vacation and shit, and like you said, hunt and do all of those things. And hell, you got, what was it, Michigan Adventure, stuff like that. Like, it's only problem I have with Muskegon, if anything, like I said, it's tough as far as, getting support for your business. It's just like we really believe in Scribs. We really believe in opening Kinkies to be something else again. We really believe in the chicken coop. Like, we don't invest. I want to say a lot of us don't invest in ourselves to say, nah, let's open our own piece of shop. Let's figure out what Scribs is putting in their sausage and do our own shit. Like we just literally abide by, okay, when I go home.
I think it's different though. Like, because like, here's the thing. Like we in Muskegon, and I've seen this in a few other communities where they'd be like, they ain't gonna let you do that. They ain't gonna let you do that. And like
small-minded things, thinking within a box.
We have all these, like, what I didn't know. And see, we talked. You sent me one of the topics of how important mentors are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came, I never wanted to be back in Muskegon because Muskegon was like, to me, Muskegon drained the life out you. When you like, you call people in Muskegon and all they would say is the bad stuff that happened. Such and such. Mm-hmm. It's like, dang, is anything good going on? So that used to be my, like, it's like people don't want to do nothing. People, it's like, the war was me. And like that whole attitude is what killed me with Muskegon. Well, when I met my mentor, I went to a neighborhood association meeting, and they had this big hoopla about they had some money from a grant, and like they didn't like the fact that the demographics were not represented, and like it was like nobody with a college degree lives in this area. When we had my mentor, he lived in the area. He had a master's degree. He had 2 master's degrees. But what Spencer, his name was Spencer Norman.
Mm-hmm.
I met him there, and he really took in. He was like, "Yo, you smart. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where'd you get this knowledge from?" He took hold of me and was like, "Look, let me introduce you to some people." And the organizations around Muskegon, because I thought Muskegon was broke too. I was like, man,
No, it's
somebody
money.
got no money in Muskegon,
No,
right?
it's money there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely.
So you
But
go,
it's like who talks to who about like, and I don't want to stop your story, but it's like you got lucky in a sense to get a mentor where it's like everybody's taught to like, well, there's nothing. I'm not saying it is right or it's wrong, but people are taught that okay, to get more, you have to go here, you have to go here, you have to go here, rather than investing in that community. Um, but I mean, keep going. My bad. I didn't want to
no,
stop.
no. So I did that. So
Mm-hmm.
I did get. I've gotten lucky a few times because like he introduced me to, like I said, to these organizations. You got the West Michigan Strike Force. They are basically they try to bring business here. They lure people. They put together packages, and then they do a lot of stuff. And then these other like shadow agencies and stuff that do stuff like the downtown. You know, they had destroyed the mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like they have these downtown development people talking about what they could build, and they only building it in the image that they know exists, and none of us are representing. They're like, they don't want to be out here anyway. And I was like, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. How do you know? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
because we
Like,
have to witness. I mean, we have to live in it, right? Like, so yeah, we want to see what everything looks like
yeah.
and
So
have a say.
you got urban planning. All these people from the outside areas like Montague, they talking about what they want to see downtown, but the people that live 3 blocks away, you know what I'm saying, that's now getting pushed out. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? That live 3 blocks away don't have no say in that. So
Yep.
I was able to meet some people in those organizations, and so we started TEDx because like we wanted to talk about it, and they brought up these great ideas that get people's minds moving. Like I never thought about how canals add value to a city, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like he did a drawing. If we had canals in Muskegon, because we have a lot of water,
Mm-hmm.
uh, if we had canals in Muskegon where we could have like a river walk, like we can have like that,
Mm-hmm.
like it was instantly like, oh shoot, that's worth that has a value in it. You know what I'm saying? That there's a way for that to happen and create something, right? They
Mm-hmm.
talked about the area with the mall and how you could do mix. And like I went to I was able to me and my mentor, we got like I was able to be the chair of a federally recognized organization in that neighborhood. And what I learned through them is the value of leveraging and partnership and stuff like that. And I was like, oh shoot, this is how people really get it done.
Yeah.
So we were able to do stuff like get SNAP benefits, which is food stamps, at
Mm-hmm.
the farmers market. That was something that we invested into. We saw something that was worth it. We was able to get people to take. We was able to um, um, get the park redone.
Mom benefited off of the
Yeah,
SNAP
yeah,
benefits
yeah,
at the farmers
yeah,
market. She had the
yeah.
farmers market every Saturday. She may not even, but the I mean, you could keep going, but like the thing about it is she may not even know that you was a part of that,
Yeah, and that's
which
okay because
is crazy. I mean, she should know this. Like, I mean, because what she would know is that okay, this is. I mean, she knows that Brian does things right,
yeah.
but knowing that part of it, would not to say strengthen. I mean, I don't think y'all have a bad relationship or anything like that, but like she would understand that okay, well, I can if I have something that I want to see, I can go to Brian or I can go to this particular type or this person and be able to get it done.
Well,
Um,
one of the other programs that we work with. She's a senior senior
mhm,
power produce that we have at the farmers market. Your mom is, yeah, my mom because one of my other mentors is the one who started the garden in the neighborhood too, right? So like
mhm,
Miss Born and Bear, I talk to her at least once every week. But she is pro. I've never met somebody who was pro uh beat down people as she is, right? She's always representing, and she's a Native American. She's always representing for like what she would say, white people trying to take over stuff and take stuff, right? They tried to take her garden by writing a grant that she ain't asked for, and she stuck up to them. But so. And then, like with what you said, Real G's move in silence, and I didn't realize how much stuff you can get done when you're not really in the front of it. Like I ran for office at one point because I was like, I could do something. But I think the success is that I got ideas that I can give to people and help them materialize those ideas. And like when you have people out in the front that likes to have that, because to me,
Stacey Abrams down here in Georgia. I mean, she does so much behind the scenes, that she doesn't need to be in office. I mean, and that just makes sense. I mean, like you said, Real G's do move in silence. It makes it, a lot easier to get things done when you're not within the limelight and you're not the focus.
So. Yeah, and people don't have. So then they started attacking your personal, and I got enough personal stuff for people to attack me with. Like, yo, you've been a part of this. You've been a part of it. Yeah. But like those
the
people
good got outweigh the bad, though. I mean, and that's the thing. I feel like sometimes people focus more on the bad rather than the good that you've done or that you tried to do. That you tried to do. I don't think that. I mean, I'm just speaking for your character. I don't think that there's anything about you that's ever been done within your life that was done out of malice or that was done to just be a bad person. And that's just the tricky part. So I feel like sometimes people just dig just for the sake of digging, or why did you do this? And you motherfucking 2014 or why?
1997, right?
Yeah, it's like
you still judging me about
my
race record in 1997 when I had the three. What was it? Altogether, it was 3 driver. Because okay,
what are you doing now? How do like sometimes people like their history can fuck it's always weird with certain people because people try to use your history to go against you, whereas if you already have positive, it's not as if history is going to repeat itself or anything like that. Like, I mean, you was, like you said, 97, you was fucking 20 years old compared to being 48 or 38 or however old you were when you was planning to run. Like, growth.
And like I'm gonna just be honest, most of it wasn't about me, it was about my people. And if you're talking about my people, I will punch you in the face. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's my caveat. And I realized that like if somebody says something about my mom, somebody says something, and like it's Muskegon, so everybody, the people that know you related, you like they're like, well, his dad was this and that. You know what? Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, so and it's just like let people try, and this is where I was talking about the boxing people in having a certain way of thinking. People box themselves in a way of thinking, and this is back to the success thing. People box themselves in to not be able to achieve success or more success than what they would like to achieve. So they do the same thing to you where they box you in to their thought process within what they think success should be. So that means that if Brian is trying to do this, it's almost like it's crabs in a barrel as well. But if Brian can't do this because this is what I think of Brian or the people that's around Brian. Whereas Brian can do this because he's thinking outside of the box that you put him in. And that's the one thing, like, doing anything in life, like say for instance with me with DJing, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with DJing. I just went and bought some shit and then I just started DJing. And nobody trusted me like starting out from the beginning, but I went through my little things and I feel like I was very successful with DJing. But if I had only thought that I couldn't be this successful within DJing, then I would have never DJed. But I had to think outside of the box to think, oh, well, I could probably do this. I like doing this. This is fun. I like music. So I had to think outside of the box, and then mind you too, you got Detroit booty music, you got all of this stuff, or Chicago house and all that. It's like, well, how do I think outside of Jay-Z, Nas, Outkast, Biggie, Tupac? Like, how do I take myself out of that box and be able to do more parties or be able to travel these places to be able to DJ? It's like, well, no, like think about it. Like it's simple. It could be something as simple as play this music.
Yeah.
Like thinking outside of that box now has me DJing in like domestically. Like in different states and traveling and doing those things.
Man, it's
You
got
know,
to be so much better than taking all those crates of records and having your
listen,
music selection before you leave.
listen. So with that, so it's like, well, how do I change my process of carrying around 8 to 10 crates? It's like, well, let me look at this Serato tractor, final scratch and all that stuff. Let me see if this can be a thing. It went from I didn't fully trust it, but it was still me saying, well, okay, now I'm gonna carry around 6 crates. So now I'm gonna carry around 4 crates. Now I'm gonna carry around 2 crates. Now I don't carry around any crates. Let me look at these things and see if I can be successful outside of, oh man, I'm gonna be this hardcore purist. I'm only gonna do vinyl and blah blah blah. I was like, no, well, let me see if I can expand and be able to grow the DJ business, from there. And it's grown, and it's just unique that, people only know you for the time that you were in their lives, right? So, I mean, I remember one time, I was it was Lynn's funeral, and and I smoke every now and then, and I was smoking, and I forgot who was I can't remember who I was smoking with, but it was somebody in our family, but I ain't got to say who it was, but then Idris came up to me like, "Oh man, look at Shante McMillan smoking weed." I'm like, bro, like, what the like? Why does this have to be a fucking announcement and shit? I'm fucking 40 plus years old, and you over here like being a fuck nigga talking about like making an announcement on some shit, but you only know me as motherfucking uh shit from 1 through 18. You don't know me after 18. You don't know where I'm
We've been in different rooms, right? Yeah, we've been in.
right. We different. Like we ain't even, we're not the same. Like you know me from that time box of being,
Look us,
growing up as a kid. Like
look
so.
us, look us. Yeah.
So it's just, but this goes back to the point of people putting you in that box of thinking like you only could do these things within this space. And I'm like, why? I was like, why is this a whole lot? Like, what the fuck are you like almost ready to swing on them and shit? And I'm like, nah, it ain't even that serious. But people only think about or think of you based off of the time that they got to know you. So even from a standpoint of even DJing, it's like, oh, you DJ? Like, nigga, I've been DJing since I was 19. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm almost on 20 years. No, almost
No, you're
30
almost
years.
on 30 years.
30 years of DJing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like some people know
You're
I
on year 28, nigga.
right. Listen, look, like people just don't pay it. Like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, that's why I appreciate the things such as Facebook and social media, is just to make sure that you're visible to what people are doing within their life. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like don't time box my success. And I feel like a lot of
And
people.
I don't even think that's about time boxing your success. I think that's about like, oh, I see you, like, oh, you finally becoming a man, nigga. This is not this
30 years later,
this is not just because this is what you see. Don't mean that this is my ceiling, right? And I tell people all the time, my ceiling is mine. Is my personal ceiling. And it's hard for people to understand. Like when I tell you I move in silence, like I try to do my best to like what I what I've learned is people will try to knock you for the stuff that you have, and when you telling people the stuff that you have, they'll knock you for the stuff you don't have. But then when you telling people the stuff that you do have, they get envious, right?
Yeah.
And I ain't saying this that people are jealous of me. I ain't saying no stuff like that, because don't be jealous of me. Like we talking about success, and my success is seeing other people being successful. And if I can be a part of other people being successful, that's what's up. And I said this to kind of bring it all back around 360, because like one of the things that I said, like when we talked about LeBron, is I want to come home as LeBron. I don't want to come home. I want to come home like LeBron came home. I don't want to come home like you get so many. Let me rewind this more, because like back where we from. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Black people get successful. They move out in the hills, and they move to a place where don't nobody or Atlanta, so people they got successful black neighborhoods in Atlanta, but you move out to the hills where they don't really want you out in the hills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and then like I remember being a kid in that community, like playing Foursquare, going to Craig, going to St. Joseph,
yep.
and going to the park and eating, right? If I can't be like. My job is to reach one, teach one, right? So like, it's another me back at home that I need to make sure, because I deeply feel like we got the short end of the spoon, and I would see, where like they had different programs for us, like basketball, midnight basketball and stuff like that. But as soon as the money went out, they left. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and in my mind, I have it to go back home, and like I still do stuff at home now. People just don't. People know I come back home and do what I do and get out.
But move in fucking silent. Like that's it. But it's sad that like you said. I mean, you was alluding to before is that you want to show the success so others can I want to say mirror it, but try to know that they can do it.
To know that they can achieve it too, right? Yeah. If I did this shit coming from where I came from, you can too.
Yeah. And I tell people, like, one of the things, like, say, for instance, with DJing, right? Like, I had someone say, hey, can you teach me how to DJ so I can make money? I was like, well, I mean, you could teach yourself how to DJ to make money. Like, we're in a society now, like, you can look at me and see the success that I have, whether it's DJing, whether it's engineering, etc. And you don't have to, and this is what I was saying earlier, that it was very strict as far as what we were afforded or what we can do. But a lot of things I learned now, I was trying to fix something. I was trying to fix my lawnmower, and I was like, I could either have somebody come out and do it, or I could just look up my lawnmower, do how to on YouTube and see if I can figure it out myself. And if I can't figure it out myself, then I could get somebody to come out and do it. But it's just like sometimes,
like you alluded to, back in our day, this information was in books, that heavy ass books. You know what I'm saying? Books
some of it wasn't. It was just you had to be in the know. You know what I'm saying? Like you just like you had to go to school in order to see certain things. Like now you don't have to do that. You don't, and you only see what's around you. Like from what your peers or what your family or what you're afforded. From a visibility standpoint. But now you're talking like the phone. It's so much like you don't even have to have a computer no more. I mean, back in the day, it was like, oh shoot, I got a computer. Like, yeah, I'm like, you was really doing it if you had a computer back in the day. But now you do all that stuff from your phone.
Not to cut you off, but that right there is crazy to me, because like the stuff that I see online, I don't necessarily believe, right? Because like it's so much manipulation and stuff. But back in the day, what I saw, I can conceive. And what I saw and what I didn't saw, we talked about this last time, right? Mm-hmm. Like the niggas on the corner of Merle and 8th Street, right? Mm-hmm. Those niggas is who made me understand that this can't be life, right? Because these niggas, you can't be 30 years old rocking a Jerry curl talking about what you did in high school, nigga. Yeah. Like I was like, how is the high school the best part of your life when I can't wait to get out of high school so I can go and be somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you had like I seen people that was it for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It for them was drinking a 40 and being, and I was like, yo, it's got to be bigger than this, right?
Working
so like
at
the
Misco,
absence of
working at
what
a
I saw,
factory, all this shit. It's just like it's always. And you look at stuff like, say for instance, like I know Bill got problems, but I mean, looking at the Cosby Show as an example.
oh yeah,
I mean, seeing a lawyer and a doctor. You know, I mean, because honestly, if you really analyze that show, none of them kids is really that successful. but they showed you that you could be successful if you try to do something. And you know, you're talking. The niece was a college dropout. Sandra ended up opening a store. What do you call it? A wilderness store.
Yeah.
You know, dropping out of med school stuff. Like, I mean, but I'm saying like. Just seeing Hillman, I thought I used to think Hillman was a real thing. Like
the image, that's what I'm saying. So like, so I see what you're saying. Like
but then you got to Dwayne Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, he's a college professor. He's doing all of this stuff with Whitley. You know, like they got married. You know, so it's understanding that okay, well, it's this side of it, but it's this side of it as well, and seeing the positive of it. You know, and knowing that you don't just have to. You know, just sell drugs or do whatever. And, you know, even the drug life is not, you know, I mean, it may have been glorified, you know, with the music and stuff like that. But, I mean, them niggas be out there working. Like, that shit is not easy. And mind you, you know, now it's monetized to the point where it's really no money out there where it's dried up. It's like, it's just crazy to me to think like, well, now what are they doing to be able to survive?
Yeah, drugs sell themselves. You sell the logistics. And we talking about boss stuff, right? You talked about boss and what is it? I've learned that I got people working for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that I wasn't a boss. And like I look at my grandma again for the structure. She had a adult foster care home where she had people working W-2, you know what I'm saying? And she would give felons a second chance by giving them jobs, right? And I'm like, man, that's success when you're a boss and you can replicate something and build it like you said with LeBron James. Not only did he give his friends areas where they could shine, but they built areas where other people can shine. You know what I'm saying? And so like success and my success is kind of is mimicking that. It's like getting to a point where not because again we talking about trading time for money. I feel like a lot of times right now I'm trading time for money. I'm just getting back into where I got apps and stuff that because back in 2000 I used to make decent money with ads and ad revenue and stuff to where like before right around the .com bubble, I was like, dang, dog, I'm making now I know $700 don't sound like a lot to y'all, but I was making $780 a month without in my sleep. Like I didn't touch it. I just let it run.
Yeah. No, but just imagine if you even with that $700-800, and then if you was able to leverage that into something else, now you're making $1,400 a month. Now you're making $2,800 a month. Now you're making $56. And like you said, I'm not working. Like this is this is working on its own. I still have my other income or however I make money happening. Plus, I'm making this extra discretion.
My rent was only $400 at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm making my rent plus my utilities with something that was working in my sleep. So I'm gonna fast forward to today. That today we got AI agents, right? And people like you. Now I thought about AI agents. I'm like, oh shoot, I can put them to work like I used to put my other stuff to work, right? So now when I'm looking for a lot of times I just give an example like what I think you would do with like you're looking for J's and you're looking for J's on these certain websites and at this price point you're okay with buying them. You know what I'm saying? So like you can create an agent that say, hey, look, these are the sites I want you to check, and as soon as it's available, pull the trigger. You put in my card and buy it for me. So like now I can say, hey, if it's people like that, I got a market for people like that. Like, look, you tell me what number what number you looking at to buy these J's, and I just let my bot do the work. With my agent, they call them agents now. They're not bots.
Mm-hmm.
And then so now your price point is $450 for the Concords.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I got them for $380 off of StockX when they came. But then we get into StockX not being.
Listen, I wrote a business plan in 2010 or 2009 and I got it somewhere, but the whole business plan was literally essentially, and I hate that I didn't implement it, but is essentially StockX. The whole business plan was literally, but it was more people generated. It was interacting people with other people. I do like what StockX did because they took. I mean, it sucks, but they took the people out of it as far as being a sneakerhead and stuff like that. You know, as of who is buying, who is selling from. But my idea was literally linking up the different people and the different people finding the shoes that they're going to get or product that they want to buy. And then, but it was still me or a group of people like making sure that it was legit, not legit. Literally, like I'm talking about the same idea, but
authenticate them. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. But the whole idea with StockX was made it with Dope is they took. I mean, Dope. It's a gift and a curse. Is they took the people part out of it, so now you don't have to interact and people trying to like Jew you down on like like if it's worth it or not worth it, blah blah blah. But literally, I mean, I still got the plan. It's something like wrote it up in 2009. And literally of a product driven idea because I was on a bunch of sneaker sites at that time, and I was like, well, shoot, what if we can be the middleman and shit and get that done? I didn't honestly want to do all of the legwork of being able to authenticate product, but and plus like I like fake product now is damn near just as good as real product. So it'd been hard. And StockX went through this as well, where were they a legit site and shoes getting through StockX and now they got, it was like 2-3 years ago they had a lawsuit against Nike or Nike had a lawsuit against them.
They said like 80% of their stuff was fake, right?
Yeah, like, so that hurts your business. Like that can put you out of business,
Yeah, because your whole thing is authenticity, right? But saying that, did you know on the 4s that the tag was upside down? The Air Jordan was upside down.
On what are you talking about, on the tongue?
Yeah, on the tongue.
So you said what was upside down?
The Air Jordan is upside down. So you flip it over, you can see, the person can see it, but if you're looking at it inside the shoe, it's upside down.
What do you mean?
Hold on one second.
I got 5 sitting right here.
You got the 5s? Like, yeah, grab the 5s.
Let's see.
Yeah. Now look on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
The other side. The inside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see him?
Mm-hmm.
You see the Air Jordan? Is it upside down?
No, he I mean, no. It's facing the toe.
Yeah, so like if you're reading it, are you auto correcting it to where you're reading it to be an upside down?
Let me see. I mean, it's upside down if I look at it like this.
Okay, it's upside down. Yeah. If you're looking down into the shoe, it's upside down, right?
Yeah.
All right. So when I bought some off a site, matter of fact, I think I got them right here in my closet. I bought some off the site, and I was like, man, these mugs don't feel like the cushion, like it felt like the main thing that I loved about my Jordans was how they made my feet feel. Like I'm a little bit flat footed, so like it seemed like there was cushion to my. But these ones, I was hitting the ground, and I was like, man, these seem like I'm going barefooted almost. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? So I
somebody got you.
Yeah, they got me.
I got got on these Air Force Ones. It was funny. My guy, he might say that they was real, but they weren't. Like they were like, yeah, we go sponsor you for these. Like when I, like I was like DJing a lot, but it's like, yeah, we go sponsor you just to be able to promote our brand, but we go give you these Air Force Ones or whatever. I think I was wearing them shits, and I'm like, this is 2004. Like this wasn't, when fakes was like a thing, but he told me his story. I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, he was talking about they was doing fakes like big time and shit, and I didn't realize it. But yeah, he had me some fake Air Force One. He's like, yeah, we gonna sponsor you as a as long as you put our banner like when you DJ and blah blah blah, but we'll just give you shoes and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. But then the nigga gave like this shit was short lived. I'm like, nigga, I ain't like you just hurt my feet.
They curled at the top.
He gave me like some fake Tims. I bought the fake Tims, but like I said, I didn't know what was fake and what. I mean, I spent I think I paid like 70 or 80, but I mean, I probably should have knew then. But you know, I spent 70 or 80.
Sometimes you just got a good deal, right?
Listen, like, but you know, that's 2004, 2005. Now, I mean, you know, but at the same time, I was like, bro, like y'all was taking advantage. I would have never sold nobody no fake kicks, whatever. Just I like that's what I have. Maybe just because I grew up, and I mean, I used to literally sit with a shoe and be like, oh, you know, like I got it, you know, like I won, you know, you know, so for me to be able to, you know, even consider that, I'm like, man, I can't do it. I don't want nobody ever associating my name to, you know, selling something. I mean, like I said, I mean, if it was a site, I may have considered it, but you know, like anything that had my name on it, I would never like hand you a shoebox and be like, yeah, take these fake shoes. And I know that they fake and I'm selling them to you. So.
Yeah. And so like the material and stuff, I started learning because I sold shoes out the back of my trunk. You know, I would go to China, like my boy went to China and picked up some shoes for us. And like we got the Louis shoes, I used to sell them out the trunk. I was like, yo, I got these. I would get them more in my size just in case I didn't sell them. But yeah, I used to believe in selling the shoes, and I was like, yo, if like we got them straight from China because my aunt used to live in
I remember Korea. I remember you got the
UN.
I remember I had the Georgetown jersey and shit.
Yeah. And so like
I'm not Georgia, because I need that shit gone. How about because I remember I had the Georgia Bulldog on the
and it wasn't like the Saints material. I'm sorry, like you know,
didn't they close? Didn't they didn't Saints finally close after like
they probably should close now because of tariffs, right? Because Shein got it built in now.
But listen, they built the business. I remember when Saints opened. Like it was in the early 80s or whatever, and I remember they had the UNLV pants or whatever, and I wanted.
That was in the early 80s. I thought that was like the late 80s, early 90s.
That was I want to say it's probably like 86 or 87. So I guess mid 80s. But
you were staying on Leahy when we got because I remember the White Sox outfits with the we bought some the short outfits with the stripes.
Yep, I remember. Yeah. The man, fuck Idris. I remember Idris stole my outfit with the I got my starter outfit.
You got that from Saints? I thought
no, I got that from Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that from Foot Locker, nigga. I used my paper route money to get that shit.
Yeah, that paper route.
Fuck them. I don't fuck with it to this day. Like he stole my shit. They had it on and then told me it wasn't mine. Like that was the most diabolical shit I've ever dealt with I was like, damn, like is that, you know, like I said, I'm still not over that shit. Like, fuck that. Like,
do you ever really get over it? Like, you like, yo, you took what's mine, and like, you ain't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
listen,
again,
you as my cousin, like, it's just a way that certain people are built. Like, we're built. I've never came into your house and said, oh well, let me take. I mean, we borrow shit, but it wasn't. I would never take anything from you, as a. No matter how much I wanted it, no matter how much maybe I envied it, I would never take anything from you. No matter even. I mean, I told you the story about the Jordan 5s or whatever. Like, y'all had them, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I've always wanted them, but I never would take that. I would never take that from you, even if it's something that I want. I'm like, well, shit, I just got it. Life is what it is. I mean, shoot, if I could get them, you know, I never.
I can get them.
Look, I was like, that just put more of a battery in my back to be able to, like, well, when the 6s come out, I'm getting those. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get it. But I feel like sometimes with people's character, like you would never take from me, and I would never take from you. Like even if we fell out or we had issues or anything like that, it was like, even if when we fell out, it was never I want to fight my cousin. It was just like, fuck it. We argued, then we didn't talk for a minute, then we eased back into talking. Like it was never when I see him it's on sight or nothing like that. It was just,
again, it's a maturity with it. Like we've been friends since we was kids. Like I said, before I knew you as my cousin, we've been friends. And like, and when you got respect for somebody and for yourself, because like I can walk by you, nigga, and I still got them. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that's the way. But everybody ain't built like that, right? Some people are built, and I can't speak on how Idris is built, because he grew up different than I did. You know what I'm saying? But I think more like it was with him. It's always been about to show him what he did and what he was. With us, it's always been like, yo, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like we good. We even if we not good with each other, like I would never let somebody throw dirt on my.
If we got to fight, we got to fight together. Like, it's like you can be mad at me, but if it's somebody that's about to try to beat me up, it's like, okay, I ain't fucking with him right now, but shit, we got to fight together. Like
exactly.
That's his family.
Yeah, it's family. And like we were friends before we was family, so it's like you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I remember, and like you talked about the joint, but like I remember you had the and you let me ride it, the big wheel with the thing, and
with the
I was
like,
and shit. yeah. I'm like, damn, he got that new joint, right? And then like you got the Transformers for Christmas, and like it was never nothing for you to share with me because you let me play with it. You know what I'm saying? So like. It was like, hey, if you got it, like he went like, don't mess with that, or you can't play with that. Like,
yeah, and you was literally the only person I ever let play with my other toys because everybody always broke my shit, and like I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you had cousins like Tari and Ray, and like they were around the same. Well, Tari's 2 years younger and Ray's 2 years older than us, but. You know what I'm saying? Like they was around the range of, like we hung out with them.
Ray was born in 75, man.
Huh?
Ray was born. I'm 76, so she's a year older than me. Yeah. Well, in the 76. But yeah. But you always had those rough cousins too, right? Like I just appreciated because like I know how I wanted my toys kept. You know what I'm saying? And like yeah. But again, when you have respect for yourself and you have respect for your items and you went out and got those items from the mud, like I remember you had a paper route. I remember doing your paper route.
Yeah,
You went out of town or something.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I had and niggas was not getting. I mean, I tried to pay you whatever I could, but like them niggas was not paying me. Y'all are not paying.
That's the hard part about. That's the hard part about the fucking. You see, and what people don't understand was like, and I say hustling backwards, right? What people don't understand was you were a contractor in between these people, in between grown-ups, asking them to pay, and you were supposed to get that money and pay for your, like, that's a boss move, right? Now that I think about it, right?
Yeah. I'm out here, 11, what was it, 11, 12 years old, asking, like, can y'all pay us so I can pay this business over here?
And I think it was like $1.80 like, and to think about it, like you get this shit delivered to yourself, delivered to you every day, and it's like $1.80. Why you ain't paying people that a week? You know what I'm saying? Got this little punch card.
I'm a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because from selling, world's finest chocolates to like all that shit to get a fucking stereo and shit, and like these motherfuckers is making bank off of me. I'm out here happy to get this motherfucking Iowa $70 stereo, and I done sold 1,000 candy bars
Yeah,
for like $3.
Went to bowling and sold everybody. I was like, dang, you getting them boxes out of there, dog. I don't know nobody who got no money. Yeah.
I look, my mom's was bowling like 3 or 4 times a week. I was going to the bowling alley 3 or 4 times a week selling the candy. She was selling at the prison. She was like, I was selling it at church. Like, nigga, like I out here hustling just to get a Walkman and shit. These motherfuckers at World Finest Chocolate, like, yeah.
Perfect model, right? Yeah. I mean, so those are boss moves where you see and you. I think that's more exploitation because we didn't get nothing besides like it was only a certain few if you sold so many. So it's like, dang, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah,
maybe
don't
help
eat
with
the product either. Like I couldn't eat them candy bars and shit. I had to pay for that. I was paying full price for the motherfucking candy bars and shit.
Exactly.
Like out my pocket, you know. So I'm over here paying $3 for this thin ass World Finest Chocolate candy bar.
And they got thinner, right? At first it was 2 things of chocolate, then it was like 1. I was like,
yep, they start putting less almonds in it and shit. I was like, God damn, they really. If you ever get a chance, I'm pretty sure you probably have seen it. But the Boondocks episode of them selling candy, that shit is hilarious. They just running that shit like a motherfucking mafia.
Oh yeah. When because it went Riley, it was Riley.
It was Riley.
Yeah,
it was
Riley.
Riley.
Was the one selling it?
Yeah, right. Riley. So what Riley did was Riley put together an organization. He had I forgot the mixed chick that stayed next door. He had her selling it.
Tom daughter.
Yeah, he had her selling it. He had this other chick that was moving it too. So like they was moving it. They was moving it like weight or whatever. And then they ran into another group that was selling it too, and they was not happy that they was
this
on
my
their
territory. I remember that joint. Yeah,
I need to watch that shit today. That shit was hilarious.
that like at first, like I like the first episode I had seen was the R. Kelly one back in the day, and I was like, man, they making fun of people. Like
they was on to something. Aaron McGruder was a visionary.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, man. But then when I started watching it and like my favorite episode is the Freedom Fighter.
Yeah,
I think it's like, nigga, where you been? we out here fighting to live.
Bitch ass. What do you call him?
Non-violent. He knocking people down. Non-violent. Like, woo.
See, look. I watched it from the beginning because I used to read the strips, but like I was like, I didn't know. Like my first episode was literally the first because the R. Kelly episode was the second episode, but the first episode was something about gardening, and it was about grandpa going to a party of white people, and this is when I first witnessed Uncle Ruckus, and Uncle Ruckus. Like, no, I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go. But the song that Uncle Ruckus did was "Don't Trust Them New Niggas Over There."
Yeah, because they had just came to the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, like this is a lot to digest, but I was enamored by the show at that point. I was like, okay, let me see where it goes. Then, like you said, I went to the R. Kelly episode. Then it went. I mean, you had the Usher episode. It's so many episodes. Then it was like the Thugnificent episode as far as rappers and shit. So it was kind of like, and it's like Thugnificent was gay as fuck, and like, but it was so many signs that were showing that he was gay, but he
never went. They never turned the curl, right?
Yeah, but so the second episode, like he ended up kissing him at the end of the episode. And Riley was still trying to deny that he was gay just because that was his favorite rapper.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it's like, damn, dog, that is so, it was so ahead of his time. And then, like, if you look at the continuation of the episode of Thugnificent, and like it was like he had on it was like the song was homies over hoes, but it had like niggas like bumping chests it's all like do the home, man, do the home. And it was just like, and Huey was just like, you don't see that this is gay. He's like, no, it's just like talking about do the homie, like Riley's trying to explain it as a fan of a rapper, and then it was like, then they had like they had outfits where it was like dresses like strapped over. He was talking about like, no, that's that's to hide the gun. It was like it got so like you really like it really makes you pay attention to like rap music and like some of the things that they highlight. It was like, bro, that's crazy that y'all like focus on. Like it was a dope. Like I love the series all the way up. I didn't care for season 4 just because Aaron McGruder didn't have too much to do with it. But like, man, season 1 through 3, man, is it was like amazing.
Yeah, I think 4 didn't have the oversight that 1 through 3 had, but at the same time, like
4 had some good ones. It had like the Breezy episode, like which is funny because it's some of all the shit that Chris Brown was going through.
Yeah, he like
so it had some little nuggets in there.
No, I enjoy all of them. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy all of them because I ended up watching them all again. I was like, this nigga is crazy.
Yeah,
especially
when they was hooping. It was something like doing all of the just the dribbling and not being like
not shooting.
But you can't shoot for nothing, or you not winning. It's like it's little nuances in there that you pay attention to. Like, I mean, that's kind of how do you become a winner versus like being flashy and and showing the game and not being it being flashy versus being successful.
Right.
So
right.
But in the interest of time, man, thanks for jumping on the pod, man. You got me. I'm about to go and watch the Boondocks for a couple episodes before I talk to Ed. And man, but just the whole idea of success. I mean, we mentioned it even, from Boondocks all the way up into what we've been doing, within our careers. It's just literally what you define as you being successful. You can look at others and say, hey, I would like to attain that amount of successes, but it comes down to what you're doing to achieve it. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, the one thing that I want people to take away from this too, success is you can it can always be something better, right? You can always do something better. You don't have to do the same thing, but if you can be inspired by somebody doing the same thing, reach one, teach one. Because if you have the knowledge, if you have the space, like it shouldn't be nothing that you shouldn't be able to share with it. Because can't nobody. So a lot of times, like people like you tell people about your businesses all the time. Yeah, I tell people about my businesses all the time because they don't have the passion I have. Yep. If they do. And I'll be like, yo, that was something that I thought about doing. Then I didn't follow through with my stuff, right?
Yep.
I didn't do what it takes to do it. But like, make sure.
I hate gatekeepers. I hate gatekeepers. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like I hate people that have ideas. I hate people that have ideas. They don't want to execute them, but they don't want you to execute them. And it's like, well, no. I mean, I'm okay with if you tell me an idea, we can do it together. If you don't want to do it, then I could do it on my own. But they would rather keep it in the box. Like, well, I had that idea, It's like, no, like if you didn't, like when I spoke to the StockX thing, it's like, well, I had the business plan. I didn't want to do it. I literally didn't want to do it. I didn't gatekeep and say, well, oh man, StockX took my idea. No, StockX literally probably got the idea based off of, being on sites and thinking the same way that I was thinking. They just move forward with that idea, so now come up with another idea and be dope with it. So
right. And see, that's crazy because like I was talking to DeMarcus and DeMarcus was like, man, we need to build a dating app, right? And I'm like, what? I'm not on them, so I don't really know how they work. Like I ain't never thought about, but then like I got into it and so we talking about it. He was telling me the drawbacks of that. And so I was like, yo, let's do it. Let's create it. Let's I mean, you talk about let's write it down and let's get it figured out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our cousin DeMarcus is really smart, but he just doesn't have the follow through to be like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Because I'm asking him and he's here. I'm like, yo, let's go ahead and do it.
Let's get it. Let's do it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there and try. And then if it like I'll put it like this, I'll say this, and there hasn't been anything that I wanted to do that I've tried that I wasn't able to do, if that makes sense. I mean, it could be a small success, but I haven't failed at anything. I may not have gotten the route. I may not have gone the route that was expected to be taken, but everything that I've tried to achieve, I've achieved. And the things that I still have in line to achieve, that can come down the line. Like I have I mentioned to you, I got a whiteboard. On my whiteboard, I was like, well, I want to be able to make at least $500,000 a year by 2027.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I have bulleted. It says, what am I going to do to do it? So it's not that
we're gonna IPO.
Yeah, it's not IPO. It's not like $500,000 is gonna come to me.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do to get to that $500,000?
Well, we talked about it last week because like you got those credentials, and we put you on the board and we IPO, and that's where we started.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let's do
it. And if people don't know what IPO is, that's the initial public offering. We are going to build something. We're going to build a dating app. And this dating app is going to be, like I said, I'm inspired by his work, by some of the work that I have put into it. It's going to be the best dating app ever because it's going to be simple as hell, right? You got 3 pictures and you got 3 options. Date me, rate me, or hook me up. Right?
At first, I'm glad. Like I had to listen a little bit closer when you said "rate me."
No,
I was like,
nah. We
because I heard different first, but I knew it. I mean, I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
But when I first heard it, I was like,
yeah. So basically, we're gonna hook people up with each other. Like, so it's date me, rate me. That means let me know what scale I'm on, right? And then you get to define the scale, right? This is what I see in my head. You defining the scale because it's not just fine, ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's intelligence. It's like crazy. Like what's that vector that my man be talking about? Cool, crazy, and sexy, or whatever. But and then to hook me up, it's like, yo, maybe I'm not for you, but maybe you know somebody else that, and then make the connection, right?
I'm game for it. Look, and this is the problem. Like, I'm not with. I mean, I know your work ethic. Like with the cousin, either you got to be for it or like. I feel like when I put, because I'm never gonna put. I want to say I put 100 into everything, but I'm gonna put as much as I can into it without hurting it, right? So I say that as in like, if you say, look, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this, I'm gonna do it with 100%. You know what I'm saying? I can't have people saying, well, I can't do it, or I can't do it now, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you a prime example with podcasts, right? Like I'll tell, like I do a podcast. I try to do a podcast every week, and from that standpoint, I'm like, well, I like consistency. So if you say, hey, look, I can't record the pod today, I'm like, okay, cool. What about tomorrow? What about but let's keep consistency going, rather than, oh man, I just found out that, Sheila died, so I ain't gonna be able to do it in 30 minutes. It's like, well, no, like you see, I hit you all the time, like, yo, you still good for blah blah blah. And if you say, hey, look, I can't do it, I'll be like, okay, well, let's do it another time. But I do want to make sure that we're doing things, So I hate when people can't be consistent, and you can be consistent. And still, like, if you say, hey, look, I won't be able to, if you tell me, Sean, hey, I can't record till Thursday, I'm like, all right, cool, Thursday. But, if you tell me, hey, I can't record till Thursday, but then Thursday come, and you're like, oh, man, I can't record till Tuesday. Now I'm like,
that's a whole nother week, right?
Yeah, but then even if Tuesday come around, you're like, I get to like, because I do this, like, we're professionals, right? Like, I mean, that's why I say everything that you do within success is how you put yourself to it. Like we can say, oh, we're podcasters. We have podcasts available. Even if it may not be, Shannon Sharp, but it's to the level of like, of course, I would like to get to the point where we can monetize this, but I'm okay with just having good conversations about finances and about things that's going on in life in general.
So that's what Nothing New Under the Sun is about, because we have these stories with family that don't get passed down, right? So like the fact that we family and we talk about the stories that that people may not know, you know what I'm saying? And like like you said, we had resistance in our life before where we was beefing or whatever, but understanding that you still come back from that, and my grandkids, because I got grandkids, you know what I'm saying? They can come and say, hey, look, I not only get the opportunity to see what my granddad was about, but I also get a chance to see what type of life he lived from his own words. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, yeah.
And we don't get that. That's the problem. And I mean, that's probably a whole nother topic, but we get all of these stories, or we have all of these things that's going to the grave with family members. It's like the older generation, and don't get me wrong, I don't tell everything, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm pretty much an open book if you ask me a question. So we don't explain our scenario. Like some people see our
that's the hard part, right? Because if we say too much, we Tyler Perry in it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. But look at it like this. It's just like I can, talking to my mom, I could talk to my mom, and this is the thing. We tend to, even when I'm in her space, as an example, right? She may not we just probably sitting up there just watching NCIS or something like that, but she just wants people in her space rather than, telling these stories. Like the conversation that we just had, I've never had that long of a conversation with my mom, with my grandma, with my aunts, uncles, anybody. Like I've never, how long have we been talking? Almost 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours almost.
I've never talked to and we've done this weekly within the past, 4 or 5 weeks. I've never had a conversation with them for that amount of time.
You haven't?
Nah.
Man, so I got a chance to talk to, I used to go kick it with Lynn and Aunt Saint at times.
No, but that's why I was saying I was doing that with them.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like making that happen, versus, it's like that wasn't I'm saying from us growing up, I can't remember, it was us as kids, but it wasn't like Uncle Joey sat us down and was like, yo, this one time in Mississippi, blah, 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 blah. But, Uncle Joey, but that's just how we were raised. That's how we grew up. It wasn't, we didn't have open dialogue. We were just,
well, we had to stand in the kids' place, right?
Yeah. Like
we can observe, but we can observe, but not speak, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get back to your point as far as when you get older, you start respecting people's time, right? Mm-hmm. And I think what happens with as we get older with the podcast, and you were talking about with the podcast, like, yo, you think you can do this now? You think you can do this now? Mm-hmm. Like we asking you for is to say, be a man of your word, right? Mm-hmm. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that's getting passed down the way it is, but I do know that I value people's time because I don't have a lot of it. Like I could be doing something else.
You was like, hey man, I can't do it. I'm like, okay, cool. Like you said, it's respecting the space because you don't want to disrupt that. And, you don't want to, I don't want to be in the studio as well. But like, oh man, I wonder where Brian at. I wonder where Eddie at. Or, like, I'm here. And it's been times I've been, and that's why I literally confirm with people all the time now, is because I've been sitting here like, oh, well, we said we was going to record at 7. I'm just trusting their word because, some people me talking to you, I trust your word. You be like, hey, look, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be there at noon. We go talk, but then, it's been times I've been here at,
Noon 30.
Yeah,
Noon 30. He's like
12:30 and 1, and I'm texting the person, and I'm like, "Yo, where you at?" "Oh man, I was at a happy hour and shit, and I didn't." I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
they ain't even say, man, I had sat here and fell asleep because that's what when you send me the text, I didn't wake up until I got my 10-minute. Like when I say I put it on my calendar, my 10-minute, I was like, oh shoot, it's
But shit, I took a nap. I put like as soon as I text you, like I text you, I think at maybe around like 11:30 or something like that. That was me waking up at 11:30, like going to go take a shower and making sure that I was up and ready to go to be able to record.
Yeah. Before we get off here, I know like because like again we respect each other time. You peep the shirt.
Okay, let me see.
You remember?
Is that Big Trouble in Little China?
Big Trouble in Little China, dog. Like
I still have that DVD. I still have the tape, but I bought a DVD of that, and that's one DVD I won't get rid of. Like we used to watch that shit faithfully. Like that, that's one of my favorite movies ever. Like literally, that was my shit. And then what's the name came from that on my Mortal Kombat
Raiden, yeah.
Yeah, Raiden and shit. Like, dog, that was like
yeah.
That movie was like shit. I guess that was VHS tapes, but that movie I used to love to rewatch it. And I found out when we finally got a VCR and shit, which is crazy thinking back to it, like niggas that have. I wonder, and this is a side topic. I know we about to drop, but I always wonder like what niggas was doing to warm up their food before
we got a microwave.
Yeah, niggas actually put shit in the oven and shit. Like that's great. Like yeah, I want to warm up. I don't know, these pizza rolls and shit. Like you had to cook that shit for 20 minutes. Like microwave is a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Like what was niggas doing back then? Like niggas probably just eating shit cold. Like what? Like you had to warm up a whole. Like if you had greens, you had to probably warm up
the whole pot. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nobody doing all them dishes.
Yep.
Yeah. But I say that because like one of the reasons why I brought the shirt out because I was like on my podcast, Nothing New Under the Sun, I try to make sure that everything is intentional. And like this is a memory. This is a memory. I remember us watching this. This is a memory from us watching. And I'm like, yo, I got to get back to being intentional. And like when you said that about the DJ, like you said it's gonna put the stuff. I was like, yo, I got to make sure that those vibes get passed down and people check it.
Yeah. No, look, I recorded the podcast with my great nephews and shit, and my niece, my great niece. Just having fun with it. I'm asking them questions like, what y'all want to do. Like older sister, Aubrey is interviewing them. Like just what they want to do, and now they got something to look back. It's within the podcast as well. They got something to look back to. When they were younger, and one of them said he wanted. I think it was Austin said he wanted to be a blogger, and I'm like, damn, that is a whole like
a whole lane now, right?
Yeah, like you can literally you can make. You look at Casanat and like the stuff that he's able. That dude's a fucking millionaire off of
the little black dude that be doing the video game thing.
Yeah, like off of Twitch, like he's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's so many, but then like we think about the jobs that we getting rid of, like there's no elevator attendants. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, that's funny. Like, how in the fuck, Winslow, what was her name? The mom on
Family Matters.
Yeah, she was a fucking elevator attendant. That was her job. I remember she got fired.
Oh wow! yeah. Hey, full circle on that. Did you know that they linked that up his job from Family Matters to Die Hard, and then like that's why he didn't carry a gun with him. Remember he shot that kid? Like yeah, that was wild. I was like, oh shoot!
I didn't even think about that shit.
Yeah,
because his wife she was on another show. as an elevator attendant, and that's how that show started.
Oh, dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was
I do
I can't
remember
think of the
her.
name. It was a white show. I can't think of the name of it. But I think I'll text that shit to you. But yeah, she went from that show and then she ended up getting technically her own show, but what's the name kind of took over Urkel and shit, but it's what it is.
They all seem to hate that at one point, right?
Man, listen, I'll say this. That was a terrible show. For one, I did not like Family Matters. I was rewatching it. It was hard to watch. It was like cringy. But
what did they talk? So it's one of the shows because it came on Friday nights too, and I was like, who's watching TV on Friday nights? Like,
I mean, it was TGI Fridays. I mean, we was young. Shit, you had Full House. You had Perfect Strangers. You had that Family Matters. I feel like it was another show, but those were the main three that I was watching.
Them 4 half-an-hour shows, right? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, but you look at Thursday nights, you had Cosby Show, A Different World.
Cheers.
Cheers is after, which was kind of a crazy show. Then you had Night Court.
Night Court was after Cheers. Yeah.
Yep. 9:30.
But see, Friday night was the nights that we could spend the night somewhere if we could spend the night. So it was like, yo, we went at home and like we was over somebody else playing video game.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So cool.
All right, man. Thank you for having me, and till next time, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, say some whole ass shit in the comments. I'm cool, whatever. But thank you all for listening. Talk to you soon.
Peace.